30 years with the company, then one day at the end of your shift you're called in and told it's over, you're sacked. That's been the fate of hundreds of Toyota staff this week as the car maker moved to staunch its losses with mass layoffs at its plant in Melbourne's Altona. The sackings have come despite a $100 million rescue package funded by taxpayers. And to add insult to injury, the reasons given to sacked workers ranged from not embracing company values to how they dressed. Heather Hewitt reports.
Sacked workers at Toyota's Altona plant call these the death buses. Since yesterday morning, one group of employees after another has been ferried in them from their workplace, surrounded by security, across the road to this wedding reception centre to be told they're out of a job.
I just feel very sorry for the people that spend like half of their life in this company. It's not fair for them.
It was a big shock for me, and also was a big shock for other people.
They take you into petitioned little rooms. There's no thank you for your service or sorry. It's just they sit you down with your score sheet and your package, and basically, you know, there's some help there like Centrelink and stuff, and then you're on your way. That's it.
Their process has had everything but a bolt gun to the back of the head. It's been described by our shop stewards as nothing more than a cattle yard.
Toyota had flagged back in January it was going to shed 350 workers because of the high Australian dollar and falling production levels. But 3 months later, the manner and selection of the layoffs has raised the ire of the union movement and the federal government.
We've been able to identify, for example, that 50% of our shop stewards and health and safety representatives seem to have been targeted for the purposes of compulsory redundancy.
Initial rumours are saying that if 10% of your workforce are going, but half of your safety delegates, half of your shop stewards, people on workers' comp have been targeted, I think that Toyota owes people an explanation to make sure it can clear up any cloud of concern that there's been inappropriate conduct.
So this is the assessment sheet you were handed when you were sacked?
Yep, that's the score sheet.
And can you understand it? It says here attendance 1. Is that good or bad, or what does that mean?
I think the ones are better than the higher scores. I'm not too sure how it all works because that doesn't actually add up. So I think it's doubled. It's got weighting on different sections, but no, it's not explained to you at all.
Paul Polestina had worked at the company for 15 years, mainly on the assembly line, until yesterday morning when he was presented with a score sheet that rated his attendance and safety levels, amongst other things.
I think it's just made up. It's made up so that everyone fits. They then had the power to choose anyone they wanted. But from the word go, they knew who they wanted.
Why do you think the company chose the people that they did then?
Well, it looks like a lot of the people, what I can see is work cover with claims in, and they've been on work cover for quite some time on light duties. So, and reps, like across all the shops, a lot of reps have been targeted. So it just doesn't look right to me.
If we believe that there is a discrimination that's taken place, make absolutely no mistake about it, we will be making application to the federal court.
For goodness sakes, if you're going to let some of your loyal workforce go, treat them with a bit of dignity.
That's what's in dispute here. If a company knows it has to sack staff in big numbers, one that happens to have received almost $100 million in government handouts over the past 4 years, why not try to keep the peace by offering voluntary redundancies first?
There's people that want to go, and I just couldn't understand it.
We believe that compulsory redundancy is entirely inappropriate and that volunteers should have been called for. We've been negotiating that with Toyota now for something like about 13 weeks. They have been immovable.
I am sufficiently concerned at the amount of noise and people independently telling me that they're unhappy or concerned with the process to think that I do believe we need to clear the air.
Toyota management today declined to clear the air in interviews with 730. A spokesman continued to blame the high Aussie dollar and said the union had always known the bulk of redundancies would be compulsory and not voluntary. The company denied claims that workers were being singled out for union links and said all had been assessed on criteria agreed to by the union late last week. The union disputes this as it weighs up its legal options. Toyota tries to deal with a PR disaster and the minister goes into bat for the sacked workers.
You don't need a degree in industrial relations, you don't need to be a QC, you don't need to be a PhD. What you do need to do is just treat people when you lay them off the way you would like to be treated.
I've got to start from scratch. I got so used to going there, it became part of my life. It's just daunting, really, to go out in the market.
He does that along with so many of his fellow workers now carrying the stigma of having failed Toyota's score sheet.
Heather Hewitt reporting.